Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. Today I'm going to give you an update on my only litter of Peruvian true red tails born here in 2022. I'm going to show you the parents, including the mother right here. We'll get out my close-up lens and take a close-up look at the babies. And then I'm going to say a little bit about how you can acquire one of these if you're looking to get a top-notch example of a Peruvian true red tail boa. So if you've been following the channel, you know that I had kind of a rough year in 2022 for Peruvian red tails. I had quite a few other types of red tails born, including quite a few Suriname red tails, but I've just had worse luck overall with the Peruvians than the Surinames. You know, the Surinames, when I pair them up, I almost always have a successful litter. The Peruvians is not the case. And in fact, I had 4 pairings of Peruvians this year, and I only ended up with 1 litter of 4 animals, if you can believe that, 4 live babies. So of the 4 pairings, 1 of them did not become gravid. And then I had 3 that became gravid. 1 of them actually gave birth to a bunch of stillborn babies early on, which was very devastating. In fact, I haven't even told you guys about this yet. Just, you know, something that was kind of hard for me to take. And then I had another litter that was born that was a couple stillborns and a few slugs. So I ended up getting this 1 litter from this female, which contained 4 live babies, as well as I believe 4 slugs and a stillborn. So it was really a rough year. I don't know if Peruvians overall are harder to breed, or it's just something to do with my particular animals, or maybe the conditions that I have set up in my facility favor the Surinames over the Peruvians. But whatever the reason, I've just had some issues getting the Peruvians. And I think that this is the case with a lot of breeders, because I've seen a lot of people having smaller litters this year of just a few animals, people having slug outs and stillborns. It's just tough trying to breed these Peruvians. But I got to focus on the positive, and I did get 4 really nice, beautiful baby Peruvians that I'll show you in a minute. But you know, every year I learn a little bit more breeding these boas and hopefully get a little bit better. I've got some more ideas for next year, so I'll have some more Peruvians paired up next year. So fingers crossed I'll have better luck next year. But we'll just have to see. You know, every year is really a learning experience. So this is the mother of the litter. She is a 2015 born holdback. She's from Rio Bravo bloodlines, Pucallpa Peruvian, that was born here. My first litter of Peruvians, actually. And just a beautiful, beautiful animal. You can see she's got this beautiful golden color. She's got these kind of pinched, slightly peaked saddles, long dark red tail, lots of nice belly markings. And then, you know, the really nice, graceful wedge-shaped head. So, beautiful example of a Peruvian true red tail. She's got that real nice muscle tone, very strong animal, very dense to hold up, as you can see. She's probably about, I don't know, I'd say 7 feet long. Good sized animal, not a giant, but pretty typical for my adult true red tail boas. And this was her first litter, you know, now that she is, what, 7 years old? Which is, you know, pretty typical age for a first time true red tail boa. So with that in mind, let's take a quick close-up look at some of the babies. Here's one of the baby Pucallpa Peruvian boas. And just a beautiful looking example. These Peruvians definitely have a look that sets them apart from the other red tails. Just the beautiful golden coloration and the kind of pinched aberrant saddles and the long red tail. But there's just nothing else like a Peruvian true red tail. And among many people, they're the favorite type of true red tail among many boa enthusiasts. And there's a side shot, and these animals are just huge. They're about as wide around as my thumb, and I'd say over 2 feet at this point. They're actually bigger than some of my 1-year-old holdback Surinames from last year. There's a wider shot with my hand. Hopefully that gives you some idea of the size of this animal. And this guy really doesn't want to hold still, so let's grab one of his siblings. Here's another really nice top shelf example of a Pucallpa Peruvian true red tail, and this one is being a little calmer than the sibling we just showed you. You can see the beautiful pattern and the kind of cool look of the saddles, as well as the markings between the saddles, and of course that long red tail. Since this one is sitting still, It'll allow me to get a side shot so you can see his or her side markings. Just a really nice example. And these boas, this one is pretty docile. Typically they're not too bad. I have a couple holdbacks from 2020 of Pucallpa Peruvians, and two of them are fine. One of them is really difficult to handle. She's just always striking out and always very irascible. But typically they calm down with age. But so far these babies haven't given me any issues with handling them. They've been pretty calm. Wanted to show you the tail close up before we move on to the next baby. I just love that really big red tail blotch that she's got there. You know, it's about like the fourth from the tip of the tail. So really nice boa. This one may well be one that I end up keeping for myself, but I'll just have to see. Here's another really nice Pucallpa Peruvian boa. And so this guy, you can see he's got quite a few markings between his saddles. That nice long red tail. Pretty much what I told you for the others, so not going to say too much about this guy. I'll let you just look at him and admire him for a second here. Since this is such a small litter, I figured I'd show you all four. This guy looks a little unusual. He actually didn't shed, and I've seen this happen sometimes where the baby boas don't shed as usual, you know, at about a week and a half, and they actually hold both layers of skin until their second shed cycle. So that's why he's got this kind of weird appearance. He's got an extra layer of skin on there that never came off. I don't know if this is like a behavioral thing that they do, or if it's you know, what the actual underlying reason for this is, but I've seen this several times before with my baby boas. And every time it's happened, fortunately, they've shed normally for their second shed cycle, and they resume, or they assume a normal looking appearance. So hopefully that will be the case with this guy, and he'll look much better after he finally sheds off both layers of skin for his second shed cycle. Now that we've seen the babies, I want to show you the father of this litter of Peruvians. So this guy is a 2015 born holdback, and he's got this beautiful deep golden color, especially on his back. And I really like the shape of his saddles. He's got these really thin saddles that are just slightly peaked. Really nice look. You can see his sides and belly have a lot of these really nice dark markings. And then he's got this really nice graceful wedge-shaped head. So a classic example of a Peruvian red tail. This guy is why I think a lot of people consider Peruvians to be the epitome of the true red tails. You can see how muscular he is. He's just like pure muscle. You can feel the strength and the ripple of the muscle. It's just a really inexperienced to hold this guy. And I think people that want like a kind of a tough snake, like people that are attracted to dogs like pit bulls and Rottweilers, they probably want to get a Peruvian true red tail because it's kind of like the pit bull of the true red tail world. And this guy is one of the nice examples that I have of a Peruvian true red tail. So this was his first litter, and so I imagine that the babies are going to grow up and look quite a bit like him, but just a really nice animal. And you know, I've really enjoyed growing him up over the last 7 years, and hopefully he's got quite a few litters ahead of him. So you saw the 4 babies. Unfortunately, it's a pretty limited litter, and I'm planning on holding back at least 1, maybe 2 of them. So I'm not going to have a lot of Peruvians available this year. There will be probably maybe 2 of them available. So some of you guys, if you've really been wanting a Peruvian, I will have these guys available. Unfortunately, I can't supply the demand. Everybody wants these animals. You know, I understand, but unfortunately, the supply is just really limited. The 4 babies are doing great, and they ate no problem. I'm going to feed them for the second time pretty soon here. I imagine they'll probably be ready to go, you know, the few that I do have available, in another 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks or so. I just want to wait till they've all shed again. You saw that one of the males, or one of the babies, has a kind of a stuck shed. It looks like he never shed his second shed, or his first shed, so he'll shed both of them the second time around. So I just want to make sure that nothing, you know, everything's fine with him. So stay tuned to the channel for updates on availability of boas. You can also follow my Flickr page. The link is in the description below this video. And I have pictures of all my available animals for sale that are up right now. In fact, I've got several litters of true red tails, including some Venezuelans and some Surinames, available right now if you really want a true red tail. But I will put up a couple more of the Peruvians once I figure out which ones are going to be available. This guy's actually giving me quite a workout. You know, I hold the boas out like this rather than wrapping them around my neck for several reasons. And he's pretty dense and muscular, so that's why I'm kind of losing my, that's why I'm kind of breathing heavily. Also, I'm kind of sweating. It's kind of hot in my snake room, and I'm right under the lights, so hence why I'm perspiring a little bit. But anyway, some of these will be available. As far as my experience this year with Peruvians, as I mentioned, it was kind of rough. I think there's several reasons why this could be the case. I intend to do a video in the next month or two about my experience in 2022 with the successes and failures of the breeding and kind of lessons learned from 2022, what I intend to do differently in 2023. So be sure to stay tuned for that if you want some insight into my breeding process. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at these Peruvian true red tails. As always, shoot me any questions or comments you may have. Thanks for watching and enjoy your boas.